Hi, Dr. Patterson here again. In this video, I'm going to talk about the post I did for on Instagram regarding enriched versus fortified foods. Just wanted to give you the definition and let you know that this is what's actually happening to your food. So in the last 200 years, what we're seeing now is the effect of consuming foods that have been enriched and fortified. And, this food basically is not fit for human consumption. It's fit for human consumption only for purposes of survival. And survival, we're talking about maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, certainly not more than 90 days. You can consume processed foods without having too much of a deleterious effect on the human body. But what we're looking at is chronic illnesses that have superseded most illnesses that has been eradicated by healthcare and through science, trial and error. And what we've seen is this explosion of diseases. They're not new diseases. They're old diseases that should have been eradicated, years ago. And diseases that basically did not affect people until they became older, they became more sedentary and less productive in terms of making their own foods. So we're talking about the things that you know about, high blood pressure, certain cancers, diabetes, obesity, certain autoimmune diseases. These are things that have shown up as a result of poor choices. So also there's been an explosion of supplements. So I use supplements a lot, vitamins, minerals, herbals for problems that people have where they need to have a little bit more healing, an alternative form of healing through the herbs, but also powders, potions. These are things that we use that act as adjunctive care in terms of the patient's healing. The problem with this is that, as with most things, it has become a fad at the tune of $32 billion. I mean, it's really taken off in terms of the amount of monies involved. And so some of this was done through legislation passed in the Congress back in the 90s. And now you see so many different professions, including the medical profession, who was totally against supplementation. Like especially when I started some 40 years ago, they would take patients off of the vitamins and minerals that I would recommend for them to take because they had certain deficiencies. And so, but I want you to have an understanding as to what this is. It's not the fact that you should be taking supplements. You take them as you need them, but a deficiency has to be established. So in going through this, I want you to understand that you have to have the food that contains that vitamin or mineral in order for that vitamin and mineral to be effective. Okay, so it's most efficacious if you have the food. For instance, if you're taking vitamin A, you need to have carrots in the diet. So the vitamin A that you take as a supplement will become added to the vitamin A from the carrot to enhance the benefit or the effect of the carrot. That's the whole purpose. You don't just take supplements without having the food that it should relate to or correspond to. So what has happened is you've seen this onslaught of, it's just like anything else. When it becomes a fad, it's fashionable to take vitamins and minerals, and people just take anything that's advertised to them that they're seeing, but it's not a panacea for health. As a matter of fact, if you take the wrong supplements or you take too many of the wrong supplements, or you take supplements that you don't need and your body can't rid itself of it through the urine and the bowel and the skin, then that becomes a toxin. So you have to be careful, and you have to know exactly why are you taking this supplement. Has there been established a need or a deficiency for you having to take it? And if so, how long do you take it? What's the amount that you take? And does it have the corresponding food that you're taking it for? So supplements do not lead to long-lasting health. Food does. And so you're going to hear more information about food being that medicine. Well, you put gas in your car. your car needs fuel. This fuel that you put in there drives the car or helps the car to function. So is that medicine or is that fuel? So I don't agree with that terminology. There's a lot of things that we see out here that's being given as information. This is just my opinion, and I'm talking from experience. Food should be fuel. It should not be medicine, because you're not supposed to take medicine forever. You have to take food. As long as you're living on earth, you have to consume food. So food is fuel, not medicine. Now they're saying let that food be that medicine. So I can understand that if you are sick, but suppose you're not sick. See, what all you're doing is fueling the body with what it needs so it can function every 24-hour period, 48 hours, every 72 hours and beyond. See, as long as the organism is walking around being me, then I need fuel. I need food. So now if the food is not adequately potent the way it's supposed to be, it's not, you have to supplement that food with a supplement. So that's why we take it. So you're going to find out that it is not the amount of supplements that you take, but the amount of food that you consume that's doing its job in the metabolic processes that we see. Okay, so the subtraction of nutrients through the processing portion of the food is what the problem is. When you remove the nutrients, all your vitamins and minerals that you need, you're going to suffer with deficiency, which is going to move your body, and I'm talking about your cells, into starvation mode. And so no matter how much you eat, no matter how many calories you consume, no matter how much weight you gain, you are literally starving. You're in starvation mode. And this is how you begin to damage the organelles and in the cells. The cell structure becomes damaged, or the structures in the cell become damaged. And we're talking about mitochondria. It's a new word for a lot of people. You understand that it's the powerhouse of the cell. It makes the ATP. And so this ATP is the energy that the cell needs and the body needs in order for you to be able to function properly. So when you see that you're fatigued, you may have damage, or there's a possibility there's damage to the mitochondria. And there's also sludge. We're talking about old cells that have not been removed. So this process is a going back and forth process. Something in, as something comes in, something goes out. It's an ongoing process, and you should have this movement of food in, waste matter from the food, and waste matter that's been produced in the cells by its functioning going out. It's a continuous process. And so when you have this, then you'll find out that the body will start to function, or it'll function at optimal levels. If you don't have this, you will be tired. And that's the first sign that you're unhealthy, is fatigue, unnecessary fatigue. And if the fatigue is such that you notice weight loss with it, you should have yourself checked out, because now you may have some abnormal cells trying to take over the body, which has been known to be some form of cancer. So cancer can be detected early with certain signs and symptoms that will send you for testing. Some patients don't know that they have that until they go for a checkup, but it should always be checked. But the most important thing that I've seen is added sugars. Okay, so these added sugars in that processing is what's causing a lot of your problems. You can have problems with your eyes, your vision. These are things that are seen as a result of an accumulation of sugar. We begin to see excess cholesterol in the body. Do you know that if you eat a plant-based diet, there's no cholesterol in plants? There's no cholesterol that the body would need a statin drug because of the accumulation of your LDLs and your total cholesterol, like you see with animal products. With animal products, you do have the formation of excess cholesterol. So you would have to have a way to minimize that cholesterol buildup or get rid of the excess cholesterol. That's important. So when we talk about, I was trying to see if I had some notes here where I can talk to you about plant-based and animal-based foods. So we talk about there is fat that's in plants. It's minuscule, okay? But you will have excess buildup of fat when we talk about animal-based foods. So cholesterol, oh, here it is here. So when I look at cholesterol, all right, plant-based foods, 0 milligrams of cholesterol. Animal-based foods, 137 micrograms of cholesterol. Fat, and this is in grams, 4 grams of fat from a plant-based diet, 36 grams of fat in animal-based foods. Protein, and this is the biggie, it's about an equal amount with plants versus animal-based foods. And so when we talk about protein, this is the biggest concern that people have is, am I getting enough protein? Okay, you have a lot of amino acids that are in plants. And so when we compare the two, and we're talking per 500 calories of energy here, you know, animal-based versus plant-based, we're looking at grams of protein of 33 and grams of animal-based foods at 34. So there's no difference, basically, in protein when we talk about plant-based versus animal-based. We'll go down this list here. Beta carotene. So we want beta carotene in that you get from carrots. There's some other foods, but namely the carrots is high in beta carotene. So your micrograms, 29,219 micrograms of beta carotene in plant-based foods, and animal-based foods, 17. See, so you might, we were talking about our vision. I don't wear glasses, okay? The members of my family, everybody wore glasses. I don't wear glasses, but I've been on carrot juice and just that mixture of carrot, beet, parsley, and celery juice since I was 14 years old. And there's, you know, I went 38 years with just strictly with that and didn't miss. So, I mean, it does help you with your vision. We have patients who have certain visual problems as a result of cataracts. And I'm not saying that this is a cure. Like you heard them say that let the food be that cure. Once you have a problem, there is a correction factor. If you consume the right foods, the body will correct itself. It's not necessarily the food, but you give it the right fuel and the body will correct itself. But like I say, I don't wear glasses. And as I've gotten older, I can tell there's a difference in my vision, the acuteness, visual acuity. But, you know, last time I took a visual test at the DMV, you know, they wanted to know if I had contact lens on. I told the girl, I said, are you a eye doctor? No, I just want to see whether, I'm not letting you look in my eye. I don't have contact lens on. I never had contact lenses, nor do I wear glasses. So, you know, they were looking at my age and wondering why I was able to pass that test. But there are quite a few people who are older who do not wear glasses. Some are consume meat and some don't. I just happen to have been blessed with not having to wear glasses at this point in time. But dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is measured in micrograms, 31 micrograms of plant-based dietary fiber. When we look at animal-based food, 0. You see what I'm saying? So now, what is that telling you? That's telling you that you're going to have problems when you consume an animal-based diet. You will have problems with constipation. You have to add fiber. Here you're going to have to fortify. You're going to have to do something to this is what we're saying, fortify. Put something in that was either taken out during the process of processing or it just wasn't there in the beginning. So you're going to have to enrich that diet. So there's dietary fiber 0 for animal-based foods, and dietary fiber is 31 micrograms. Vitamin C, well, we know the body doesn't make vitamin C. Your adrenal glands need vitamin C for stress purposes, for immune purposes. And so you have to consume fruits and vegetables to get your vitamin C. So we're looking at micrograms of vitamin C on a plant-based diet, 293, and it's only 4 with animal-based foods. Folate. Folate is one of your B vitamins, essential for avoiding birth defects, certain mental states in the body, especially in the young, and then also in older people. We need that. And this is measured in micrograms. It's 1,168 micrograms in a plant-based diet to 19 in an animal-based diet. Iron, we're always concerned about taking iron. Even in women who are menstruating, if you're menstruating, if you're eating beets on a daily basis, beet juice on a daily basis, you won't have an iron problem. If you do, then you're losing blood somewhere else in the body, and that should be checked out by your OBGYN. Okay, so we look at iron in micrograms, 20 micrograms of iron on a plant-based diet to just 2 micrograms of iron on a animal-based diet. So magnesium. Magnesium is very important because magnesium is one of the deficiencies that we see because of lead. Lead will leach magnesium from the body. You get that basically in drinking water that contains or has lead pipes. If you have water that's served to you through lead piping, you will have problems with your magnesium levels because that lead will get into that water and the lead will leach magnesium away from the body. You'll have probably problems with your heart rhythm. Okay, so this is where a lot of problems come in with heart rhythm is through magnesium deficiency. You have problems sleeping because it definitely is a nutrient that helps to serve the nervous system. So we're looking at, let me read that again, 548 micrograms of magnesium in plant-based diet to 51 micrograms in an animal-based diet. Calcium, this is another problem. I rarely ever recommended calcium for African American or Black patients because basically you did not need calcium. I was so concerned about the excess calcium going into the body and you're not being able to properly break it down and metabolize it without compromising the function of the kidney, thus forming kidney stones. Okay, we know we have stones with our gallbladder. There are other problems associated with stone formation in the gallbladder and in the kidney through excess calcium consumption. And some of this has to do with the diet, what we see in the gallbladder, not being able to properly emulsify fats because there's a lot of frying of foods. So we want to be able to make sure that you get proper calcium, but you're getting quite a bit. In milligrams of calcium, 545 is quite a bit to 252 in an animal-based diet. And so even with an animal-based diet, you may need to supplement your diet with calcium. So we can see there's a distinct difference in the composition of foods and the nutrients that are needed between plant-based and animal-based. And this was just a chart that was in a book by a Thomas Campbell, MD, and Colin Campbell, PhD. They gave us a study in the China study. They gave a study here and they gave a chart. And they have many other charts in here, but this is something that doctors, we all look at medical and scientific information to be able to help our patients achieve optimal health. And most of it now that we deal with is through dietary deficiencies. And so a lot of these dietary deficiencies come with the processing. You didn't have this here in industrial farming, industrialized farming. And so we didn't have this when we basically came up in the South and people had their own farms. They had their own cattle, even with pork, which I don't recommend pork, but a lot of our people knew how to prepare the pork in such a way that it did not affect you nearly as bad as it does today when you get pork from the grocer, because you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know how long it's been there. You don't know if it's been properly preserved and what have you, or cleaned out. You know, our ancestors, they cleaned out the animals that they were going to kill before they killed the animal for consumption. See, today we don't know if they do that or not. And you don't know what you're eating because with industrialized farming, the meat that's processed, if you look at the processing, they don't process one animal at a time. So you might be consuming the DNA of 200 hogs or 200 pigs, 200 or 300 cattle. See, you don't know what you're getting. So this has to be checked out. And what I'm saying with all of this is that basically there is a lot more work that's going into the consumption of food. You have to do your due diligence in researching the foods that you're consuming, what's in it, how long it's been on the shelf, the distance that food traveled to get to your grocer where you picked it, even right down to the soil that the food was, processed on. You need to know about that. Was the meats, if you consume meats, was it in a setting where the animals stood in their own waste matter and water? Are they shot up with or injected with antibiotics a lot? This will affect you. And you'll find out that certain people, certain groups of people are more allergic and sensitive, have food allergies, have certain organic illnesses as a result of this type of farming practice, this type of food, storage and transportation, shelf life, dyes and chemicals. Some people are more sensitive to that than others. And I know that people of color are very sensitive. More melanated people are sensitive to what goes into the food, having to fortify it, to enrich it, to preserve it. And you'll see that to start looking at some of your conditions. Okay, look at the fibroid tumors that are so prevalent in Black females. Look at cystic or cysts, breast cysts in young children. I call them children. She might be 9, 10, 11, or 12, but she has cysts in the breast, okay, and she doesn't drink coffee. See, so you want to look at things like this, the hormonal changes or the hormonal effects of the food in people who are highly melanated. Everybody has melanin, but the amount of melanocytes in your body is totally different from that of another person, and everybody's DNA is quite different. So you have to take this into consideration, which means that you're going to be doing a lot more research, a lot more work, and you have to be a lot more concerned about what you consume on a daily basis. That leads to fasting. Learn about that, reasons why you have to take a break from this kind of food, the amount of calories that you consume and the amount of times a day. And this is the reason why people are so hungry, because if the food is nutritionally deficient, you're going to be hungry all the time because your body is trying to satisfy a hunger or a thirst for the vitamins that you're not getting. You're getting food stuff. You're getting calories, but they're empty calories. So all in all, what I'm saying is that you need to be more conscious about what you put into your body. A plant-based diet is much better. Fruitarians probably are doing the best next to vegetarians. Vegans are, you have to be a very strict vegan with quite a bit of nutritious knowledge to help understand that, you want to increase your understanding that all the foods that are listed as vegan may not properly serve your body 100%. So you want to be careful about what you consume, even though it's not animal-based. It still may not be conducive to a good nutrition practice as far as your body is concerned. And so we see problems where people are not able to maintain a vegan diet. There's two things. First of all, they're consuming foods that may not be nutritionally sound for the body, that contain a lot more waste product that build up, and you can't eliminate the waste in a timely fashion. So this is why you can't sustain a vegan diet. You need to look into that, but I would check my elimination if I was a vegan. As a fruitarian, you don't have to worry about that. Fruits contain 90 to nearly 100% water. Fruitarians eat some vegetables too. but basically they are a lot healthier than the average group that we see here. And then second, you're vegetarians. Vegetarians will consume some dairy. So there's some vegetarians who don't consume dairy, and they consume adequate amount of vegetables for mineral purposes. But you have to choose whatever diet plan that works for your body. So there's no one single diet. There's about 10 different diets, and they all work, but they work for different people of different backgrounds, different conditions, different metabolisms, different genders, race, different locations. This all has to be taken into consideration before we say this is the diet for this. So there's certain diets that are medicinal in nature. Certain doctors will put patients on a restrictive diet in terms of processed foods. They will align themselves heavily with a lot of herbals. These are bitters. These are medicinal. And we can't say that diet will work for a person who's athletic, might be in professional sports or semi-professional sports. That diet would not work for that individual. See, so you have to get the diet that's right for your body, for your present condition. And then make sure you keep in mind that there's always a consistent flow. Something going in, something should be coming out. And what goes in should be a lot less than what comes out. And if you can keep that ratio properly going, then more than likely you won't get sick. And if you get sick, it's really a sign that your body's letting you know that you ate something, consumed something, or you was exposed to something that was not conducive to your nutritional pattern. Okay, so I hope this provided you with some information. Remember to look up Enriched and Fortified. Make sure that you get a good understanding of that, and that will keep you from having to worry about the doctor saying, don't eat this and don't eat that. We want to tell you, you'll know what not to eat. You'll know what to eat. Okay, best in health.